let's see. Okay, I'm recording.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. So I guess first, like, have you completed the CMOC bootcamp?
Yeah. I registered my own status account, but I don't see that it's connected to my to GitLab as organization. So I'm not sure if I did that correctly.
Okay, let me so yeah, you should have like your own status account that's been provisioned for you. It should have been provisioned as part of the boot camp. Let me let me try to find the issue real quick. But yeah, if you don't have access, maybe I think you might need I think you might need to complete an access request for it, and then your manager should approve it, and like yeah, from that you should be added to like GitLab status IO account.
Yeah, because when I logged in, I don't see anything related to GitLab itself. I just see my own profile and like nothing else.
No, and that's strange because I do see an access request for you, and so you created an account like using your GitLab email address.
Yeah, it's the same, and maybe it somehow created like second accounts not related to like the one that's linked to our organization. So I don't know. It should
that sounds possible.
Yeah, it should have like informed me, hey, there is an account with such email, so it's unavailable. So I was assuming like if there was account, so I would be prevented from creating another one.
Yeah, no, that is really strange. Yeah, I'm looking. I do see that an access request was created. So you should like be able to see the team stuff. I'm gonna see if I can sign in and see if like there's any team related stuff. But otherwise, yeah, it might be like a weird duplicate account situation somehow. But let me just try to check this real quick.
Yeah, I even created my company gitlab.com, but yeah, it didn't link me.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna try to resend the invitation to you.
Oh, maybe I should.
Okay, so yeah, it seems like it's active now, unless yeah.
Status. Yeah, I see invitation to the team. So hopefully it will I don't see any teammates in my account. It's
That's
weird.
Can you you screen share it?
Yep. Yeah, here it is. When I click here, I just go to my account. That's not, I think it's not linked to the organization. Like its team is empty. So that's why I was confused when we had that video call where you showed us how to do everything, and I was wondering like why my screen is different.
Yeah, no, that's super weird.
Maybe
yeah,
I try
anything
log out.
Okay.
Let's try log out and see what happens. So I think, yeah. Yeah, I already created password, or maybe. Maybe this one. Still the same.
All right. What happens in that system status page drop down in the top right under your like profile picture? Anything there? Yeah, no. So yeah, you're there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I see that. Yeah, finally. Why don't I
All
see any teammates?
right. Yeah, it should be
Maybe
there under
here?
teams. Yeah.
Oh, this one. Yeah, I was confused by other buttons in the system. So, okay. Cool, we figured out. So, I was wondering, I went through all of the steps once again to just confirm that I understood everything. And okay, I see this. So since you have your shift this week, so probably your knowledge is super fresh. Okay, so what's the first step? How do you define whether it's an incident is going right now?
Yeah. A number of ways. One thing I've seen is like production kind of getting better of at like proactively responding to like alerts and stuff like that. So more typically than not, like they'll go ahead and declare an incident. But sometimes other things that like drive incidents are, you know, a large volume of tickets from like, you know, people about like a certain issue, or a question will pop up in like, you know, Slack somewhere, hey, is like such and such, you know, working or being weird for anyone else, and like it'll come to us that way. But yeah, so it's like if ever you have like suspicions of like or questions about whether like, you know, something's going on, the first step is usually to hop in the production channel in Slack. And like, you know, like yesterday, for instance, we had like a bunch of stuff happening with like CI and like 503 errors. And yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so stuff like that, you know, you can pop in here and like ask like, hey, is anyone aware of like any issues with like whatever, you know, component or service or what have you. And then you can also like link to any like Zendesk tickets that we're getting about that thing. And if you're like in like the other alert channels, you can like link to like alerts that you're seeing, or like even in like the public dashboards if you're checking stuff there. Like anything to kind of help like hone in on the problem for the SREs. And then from there, yeah, there are like a number of like different Slack commands that you can use to determine who the engineer on call is, and yeah, and that kind of
this one probably. So like before declaring it as incident, do you like ask engineer, or like you define by yourself like, hey, that's kind of incident? Like,
yeah, no,
do you ask someone if you should do that, or it's like only on you?
Yeah, so either, it just depends on like the kind of severity of what you're seeing. For the most part, I usually hop in production and like ask someone just to kind of make sure, you know, that like it's a thing. But yeah, you also have like the ability to like just declare an incident as well. So like there's been conversation about this before, and like the consensus, the understanding is that like, you know, when in doubt, you know, like it never hurts to declare the incident. If it turns out to be nothing, it's nothing, but it's better to like kind of be more, I guess, proactive in doing so than like trying to like, you know, follow up and chase things after the fact. But yeah, just for my own sanity checks, I tend to ask as well. But if we're getting like a ton of tickets or something, then like going ahead and do it. Because ultimately what matters the most is like just being like very upfront and transparent in terms of communication with users. So I think it's better to like, declare the incident and get communications out, through status and Twitter and all that, rather than like have like a ton of tickets saying like, hey, like this is going on, your status is fine, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah. So like, do you always monitor this like production and other channels, or you should receive some page from PagerDuty? Like, what's the trigger that makes you like makes you aware of something happening?
That's a really good question. So, and especially ever since we rolled out this like the PagerDuty rotation, so historically, like I would, the incident process for me would kick off with like tickets or like something seeming wrong, and like me hopping into production and like going from there. So with like the new rotation, and this is something I need to get clarity on. I'm not sure if like I respond after being paged, because even with the things that were happening yesterday, I never got any pages in PagerDuty. So like that's something that's not clear to me that I need to like get clarity on. Like I'm not sure if it's working properly or but that's a really good question. I just don't know the answer to it yet.
So like during your rotation, your shift, are you just like monitoring all of those channels, Zendesk tickets?
Well, and not even so. Incident stuff, like in my experience so far, it's always been in response to like tickets or something like that. The PagerDuty situation is like a new aspect for me. So like during my shift, because like right now, like the on-call shift, it's like during my working hours,
Yes.
So no, I'm not like constantly in production and like these alert channels like looking out for things. Because then like, I wouldn't be able to focus on like other stuff as well. My expectation is, if there's an incident and if what CMOC is required, then I will be alerted, through PagerDuty or Slack or whatever. But that hasn't happened yet. So even in the examples and the incidents that occurred yesterday, it seemed like the CMOC aspects were being covered. I think the engineers kind of just took that on, either that or Lyle. I know Lyle, or I'm pretty sure Lyle did the one with the 503s that happened like after like we basically signed off. But yeah, like I haven't gotten any alerting in PagerDuty when incidents occur. And I'm not sure. I would expect that I would be alerted, but that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, that's something that I want to check up on.
Yeah, that's kind of weird for me, because I was expecting, hey, if anything happens, I just receive PagerDuty message, and like I shouldn't be worried about if I miss something. But yeah, you make me not confident in that. So yeah, the best way right now is probably just monitor something from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, and even like with the monitoring stuff, it's like so like those alert channels are very noisy, and a lot of the stuff that's posted in there isn't always relevant. There are like literally alerts for everything, even if like the things are not incident like related or worthy or whatever. So I never monitor those channels. I actually have them muted. I only check like when like something seems off, or like we get like a number of reports, and like that's when I'll go hunting for like stuff to corroborate that, or like make it make sense. But I don't monitor those channels. Like actually, I refuse to. I just don't like a lot of noise.
Okay, so let's move on. Once you like, okay, I decide to declare an incident. So I go to here and just do a new incident, and As I
Yeah,
remember
so
from our training, I created
yeah,
a
so
title.
yeah, so let's switch to the test environment because this is like for the live like status page and alerts and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So in that drop down where it says get last system status on the top right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, switch over to the test page.
Yeah, that's a test page. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you can
Okay.
come here and play around.
Yeah. I missed that part. Okay, so I just new incident. That's my like
Mhm.
next step. Yeah, after understanding that I want to declare an incident. Yeah. So I create some title like is down, for example,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like it's identified right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that depends. Typically, like when you first get word like something's happening, it'll be investigating. Unless like it's confirmed that like this is happening for this reason. But yeah, I would typically start off with investigating and then post a follow up update saying that the state is identified.
Mm-hmm. So what's the first status? It's okay. So I just define from the incident itself. Yeah, from the alerts, I defined which area is affected. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, so that's kind of like incident status kind of reflects like the severity.
Uh-huh.
Like the graded performance is like, just like an aspect, like one thing isn't working for some people, that kind of thing. And then the other is like increase in severity. So
Mm-hmm.
service disruption would be like a complete outage, like GitLab.com is entirely inaccessible, something like
Uh-huh.
that. Partial service disruption is something like, where there are like issues with like a component, like such as like
Mm-hmm.
like CI or like API is down, but web is up, that kind of thing. But yeah, so
Uh-huh.
even that kind of information you can glean based on like the reports that you're getting, if any, and also like the chatter that happens in production and incident management.
Mm-hmm. So probably like service disruption, it's kind of like something super serious that
Yeah.
probably happens really rarely and almost almost never, probably.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it could be
Hopefully.
helpful to like I think it could be helpful to look at some like the historic incidents on our
Yeah,
status,
yeah.
and like just kind of like see like how those incident statuses were set as well, just to get an idea of like what's what. But that also should be documented, I think, in the handbook. I
And
believe I'm gonna try to find that. I believe there's like some mention of like the severity and all the yeah. Here, let me drop this in Slack.
no.
Um, and this actually might be like a little not technical, but not the most like friendly way of explaining it for us. Where is the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. Um, wait.
Perhaps this section or
Yeah. So it's
I
here,
don't see
let me
severity or something.
yeah. So I'm gonna just drop this in the Zoom chat now. It's
uh, yeah. I remember I've read that, but uh-huh.
yeah. So like that doesn't really translate to like what's in like status page. But yeah, oh yeah, see, yeah. So a partial service disruption, for example, there is when only a single component, a part of GitLab.com is experiencing an incident. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, so those are some good examples of like what I qualify as a partial service disruption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, security incidents. Yeah, I've read those. Okay. So the next step. Oh, where is my? The next step would be okay. We defined severity and broadcast everywhere, I guess.
Yep.
That's
And then so yeah, we can look at English. We can look at this affected infrastructure section too. So yeah, we usually don't change the message subject. Like that's just like a default thing, and it kind of helps with like consistency. But under this affected infrastructure section here, if you uncheck all components and containers,
yeah,
that then like shows like the individual components. So if like this were a partial service disruption, I think in your example you said like it was AWS, you would come here and just select like that component. And that just helps to like be clear in our communication, because it's like we don't want to like suggest that everything is down if only like one thing is.
So yeah, I just check the relevant things and just create incident. Yeah. Oh yeah, the JS. JS. Mark it down. Perform. Something like that.
And yeah, so another reason I like to get like another reason that I like to hop into like production, to, as a sounding board for like whether an incident is happening, is there's usually like a good time where you can like either ask for the related production issue, or ask that it be created in case it doesn't exist. Because I like to include that in like all of the or at least the initial like status update, just so that people have like something like something accessible to know, like that it's been worked on and like what work has been done.
Okay. So okay, I create incident. And what's my next step from here? And then I go to Zoom channel, I guess, in which engineers are discussing things. And Tom told me that I should just make updates every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, every 10-15 minutes is like a nice interview to shoot for. And even like if like within like those 10 to 15 minutes there's like no new information, it's still nice to at least say like, hey, we're still looking into this, like just so people aren't like like what's going on.
Yeah. So what else? And after incident is done, like I updated it from time to time, and then like everything is clear and solved. And also wanted to ask, is like incident could be going through for like 2-3 days or something like that, or it's almost never happens?
I mean, it's rare, but I mean, so I say that and I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot, because we still have like the let's see. I know it resolved. I could have sworn that was still happening. But yeah, multi-day incidents are rare. They're usually resolved within a few minutes, if not a few hours, at most like the same day. But that is a good question too, because that raises the whole CMOC handover, which I haven't personally like created or done yet, but there was the issues that happened yesterday. I'm gonna drop this link in the Zoom chat. Lyle created a CMOC handover issue for them.
Yeah, that was my next question.
And so I need to like read up on like that part of the process too. I would assume that it's something that only happens when there's been an active incident, not necessarily at the end of each shift. But that's something to probably get clarity on too. But Yeah, so if you were to have like a multi-day like ongoing incident, that's something that like you would definitely note, or rather that would be noted in the handover issue. So yeah, in this case, like those two were both resolved. But yeah, if something were still happening now, like it'll be listed in the ongoing incident section.
But what's weird is that I don't see any information here, like whether the next person will know what happens or
Yeah.
how.
So if you check out issue number 6, that gives like a better Oh wait, what is this? CMOC handover. Get.com support.com. Yeah, check out issue 6.
Oh, 6. I don't see that.
Oh, you have to be signed in. It's confidential.
Oh, but I'm signed in as GitLab member. Oh no, probably not. Okay, let me. Oh, I thought that my CMOC is not public. Like everything here is public.
Yeah, no, so I think for the most, well, let me look at the issue template, but my assumption is yes. But I think in this case, the handover issue isn't public because it concerns some like confidential stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it when you open up the issue.
Yeah, that was weird for me because I thought that I already signed in because I saw my CMOC bootcamp issue.
Oh,
So I was wondering, like, everyone could see that. Sorry,
that's all good.
as I just created another like person in browser to like separate my CMOC things from other stuff. So right now I think I should be able to see that. Handover.
Oh wait, I think you need to enter your 2FA as well.
It's that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I have this. 1 second. Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I think this is like a really good example of a handover issue. Because there's multiple issues to reference, but also like the comments I think are helpful. So yeah, I think typically these handover issues are public, but I think in this case, just because it references, a security issue, that it was made confidential.
And these are being created by some of our incident engineers.
Yeah. So the SREs are creating these.
So yeah, because I thought that I should create them. So I just, from those issues, I just can take some information to make, like to formalize my my incident.
Like you mean like your status updates?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just
for sure.
can, yeah. So I just can take some information from here and also ask in Zoom chat, in Zoom channel, what would be the best like words to explain what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely rely on both the incident issues as well as like communication in Slack or Zoom for the updates. If there's ever like something that like I have doubts about, like whether or not a certain bit of information or detail can be shared, I'll ask. And yeah, that's perfectly fine too.
Okay, so on Hanover is, I hope that will be enough for me.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna make a note of that as well. So my outstanding questions are pager duty, what are the expectations, and clarity on the handover process.
Yeah. Do you use some special filters to understand which of those are like relevant for you?
Yeah, so I actually I subscribe to the incident label at the project level. That way as well. That's kind of serves as like a second like point of like notification for me. So the thing with that though is like not all issues that are labeled with incident are like CMOC worthy or whatever. Like they don't like all require communication. But this just kind of helps to like kind of keep an eye on like what's happening as well.
So if it's like more of those incident issues, that's the good trigger for you to think about creating an incident message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else? I think I run out of questions. Oh, and Zoom channel, where it will be like declared, like in this in production channel, or how?
Oh yeah.
How do you?
When an incident has actually been declared, like all communication about the incident, it happens in incident dash management. That's usually where they take the conversation.
So there, someone creates a thread, or you should create it.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah, typically like conversation will like already be happening, and yeah, it happens in a thread. But like if you have questions, like and like a thread doesn't exist, you know, you can always start that. And then also in this room, it links to like that permanent Zoom situation room too, so you can always like hop in and out as necessary.
Oh,
And
there's
in the top there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice. That seems more clear for me right now, because
okay.
when I was just reading everything, it was so it was so unclear for me, because I just, some of the things were missing because I didn't know that I should link my account to our organization.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a lot of information. And I think like, yeah, really like the only way to like, I guess, feel like you have a better handle on it is to like go through the process for sure. But also that being said, like, you know, when you do get pulled into it, don't freak out. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll also try to monitor those channels from time to time to see how other CMOC do their job, to just learn from them.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good approach.
Yeah, and also wanted to ask, is there a way of how to see who is CMOC right now? I didn't see that.
So
I didn't see that command for Slack.
That's a good question.
Maybe some chat ops command or something.
So there should be, but let me double check.
Oh, I'll recreate my 2FA. Oh, okay. Oh, why doesn't it doesn't
All right,
see
yeah,
that I'm
so
connected? Oh, I should authorize. Okay.
yeah, so if you run like chat ops run on call CMOC, it lists out who's currently the same for chat ops run on call in general. It lists out who's on call for like every rotation, which is good to know. I should probably add that to the documentation.
Well, it doesn't work for some reason.
Oh no, it just takes a little while.
Ah. Or it shouldn't it work on any chat? Oh, it was. The build failed. Huh, nice. Why it failed? Huh.
I wonder if you've been connected like to chat ops. So there might be like a separate let me find like a separate like permission situation. You have to like hop into production and ask for your user to be added. I just forget which command. It's like chat ops run, I'll call user add or something like that. It's in one of these documentations.
Yeah, I still very new in chat ops, how to use that.
Oh, okay. I think that might be it. Try it in like a public channel. So try it in like a DM with yourself or like the maybe support DLOP.com channel. Because I think first chat ops has to be invited or something like that.
So I should type it here. And,
yeah, try it there
support
and
GitLab.
see. Yeah.
One on-call prod. Huh. Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, nice. It works.
Yeah, so if you replace prod with CMOC, for example, it'll just show like the CMOC rotation, but you have to run it separately. But yeah, and the same if you remove the prod or CMOC altogether. So if you just do on call, it lists all the rotations.
Mm-hmm. Do you use this chat ops thing, or it's not necessary
Sometimes,
for you?
yeah. Yeah, no, sometimes I use it more
Yeah.
so for prod.
Yeah, I see the list of our CMOCs. One is here. Yeah. Dave Smith. Oh, it's interesting. Dave Smith is on 3 fields here.
Yeah, so I think like initially, like, while we're like sorting out this process and stuff, he's included in the primary rotation, but eventually it'll just be he'll just serve as an escalation point.
So also the last question, I think it would be, on the weekends, are you also an on-call person, or
No,
there is
so not
not?
currently. I think down the line that may become a thing, but right now it's just like doing working hours in each region. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But what if something happens in weekend, during weekend? Like, is there a person who will say things to customers through all these channels, or
Yeah. So
everything?
right now I think it's the managers who are covering weekends. I mean, like, yeah. So it's yeah. In case anything ever blows up, you know, like just like the way we work, like there are ways to get in touch with people, so that, like, you know, yeah, it's not just like happening. But I think for now, in terms of like the official rotation, the managers are in on the weekends. Actually, I can check that. Just give me 2 seconds. Yeah. So let's see schedules. CMOC. Actually, yeah, it looks like no one has specified 4 weekends. But that being said, I think because of APEC, and like they're working out like the way like their working hours work out, there is some coverage, like on Saturdays, for example. Yeah, let's see. Actually, yeah, double back. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any specific weekend coverage now. Just a few hours Saturday. But yeah, they may change down the line as we, like, you know, ramp up weekend support or something. I think that's like something else that they want to do.
Yeah, I think that's not necessary if we don't change anything during weekends. So, okay, I think I hope I'm ready.
You are. You
Next
got this.
shift.
But if you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up.
Yeah, was your first? Is it your first shift right now this week, or you had that previously?
Yeah, no, this is my first week in the rotation. So yeah, this is the last day of it.
Was it like hard for you, or
No, it
than you
wasn't.
expected?
And so yeah, so a part of that is like I said earlier, like how I didn't get notified when things were happening in the way that I expected to. So it just felt like a regular week, you know. Like I didn't get any like 3 a.m. phone calls or alerts or anything like that. But yeah, it wasn't hard. Like I promise you, it'll be fine. It's not like
yeah, because I usually am getting really nervous when I have my first pager duty shift. Yeah. So okay, I think I don't have any questions. Thank you very much for helping me understanding everything. And
yeah, no, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. I hope we'll post this video somewhere. I don't know where should I post this?